pick a fair fight. Compare me to lightning, that similarity striking. Compare me to Jaws, compare me to Manson, compare me to Charles.
Sorry, we still in here setting up.
Compare me to the Iggy bitch, you're all this fucking Milli Vanilli hip hop. This is where all that silly shit stops. Compare me to the pistol, the trick of the stock, the semi, the Glock. Now millies get cocked. I'm sending a shot, don't come around with them claws raps trying to stunt. Compare me to meat, big willies get popped. One by one, comparing the scabs, I'm picking them off.
Anyway. What is this again? This is welcome to the show. I was trying to figure out what the hell I was doing because I feel like I still had something else to do. But I think the last thing on the checklist was just to get the tea popping. And I got the world's slowest teapot. I don't know, man. It works great, but it takes mad long. So welcome to the show. Meanco Jackson Productions presents Lunchtime TV, the Starters on the Bench podcast, and the Meanco Jackson Show rolled up into one big ass jelly donut. So I'm actually very shocked that I'm doing this because we normally don't revisit a story maybe more than twice. And I just keep seeing things popping up. Working? There we go. Sorry about that. The dang microphone. That's what it is. Anyway, welcome to the show. I look like a damn fool. I was just talking to nobody because the damn mic wasn't on. But anyway, Meanco Jackson Productions presents Lunchtime TV, man. This is the Starters on the Bench podcast and the Meanco Jackson Show rolled up into one jelly-filled donut. I do have baked goods on the brain. I have not had a baked good in several weeks. I'm going through withdrawals. I actually went to my favorite cookie spot today because I wanted to get to it before the snow hit. So I went, shout out to Lowrider Cookie Company here in Seattle, Washington. These cookies slap, and I got a few of them. And there isn't enough for anybody. This is enough for me. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the same time. I'm really more sorry that there was no sound in the first few seconds of this video. So the whole thing looks crazy because I had the music playing and I was in here turning up and people probably was like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? But he didn't have the sound on anyway, or the microphone. Hold up. Let me.
Home to fuck Nicki Minaj, compare me to Dickity Dawson.
Yeah, I'm higgity hitting it raw.
Then I beat up Trevor. Yeah, say beats bestseller. Yeah, we linked up, then we inked up. Till I got a beast, at least got the. How could we be so hella? Got a motherfucking attitude.
Just had to get that out of my system. Great record. Eminem, Bang. I mean, it's Conway's record, Bang, but this is M's verse. I've talked about this on the show before. I listen to this all the time. There was sound. Oh my God. I didn't think it was working because it was flashing. Anyway, maybe I'm not crazy and everything worked out great. And I just introed the show twice because I wanted to make sure y'all heard it. Gabby, shout out to you for being in the chat and providing feedback about the show. So I went to the cookie spot, got some cookies, finna turn up. I talked about jelly-filled donuts because I also plan to probably get a jelly-filled donut sometime in the next few days. But I'm also trying to remain strong. This wonderful body that I now have comes at a cost. And the cost is that I can't eat baked goods like I used to. I can't consume the same type of foods that I used to. And you know what? I'm okay with that because at my advanced age, I'm still able to go out to the basketball court and do people bad. And as you get older, you have to eliminate some things to still try to maintain. And I've had to eliminate all of my favorite foods. So I drove by Ezel's today. If you follow my Snap story, you saw me drive by Ezel's, the chicken spot, Cuddy. I haven't had fried chicken in over a month. And I'm black, so I'm definitely going through withdrawals. And yes, I stereotype myself, but it's just real, man. I need fried chicken. I need fried food, period. But my black ass hasn't had Ezel's mad long. So if you're from the area, you know what it's like to go more than 2 or 3 days without Ezel's. So shout out to Ezel's. And shout out to Lowrider Cookie Company. Seattle, Washington favorites, man. I'm telling you. If y'all ever come out here, pull up and I'm going to show you around. It ain't going to be to many places, but I'm going to take you to a couple places. And it's mainly places where we can eat, Cuddy. And you're going to enjoy it. Because I only deal with the finest. And that's Ezel's and the Lowrider Cookie Company. I'm sure there are plenty of other places. People probably going to get in this and be like, nah, you got to go here and you got to go here. Da, da, da. Yeah, I ain't been everywhere, obviously. But I go to the places that I go to. And then if you pull up, I'll take you to these places. Gabby, you need to pull up for a visit. Might as well. Family's always welcome. Let's get to it. Okay. So I was saying before I recognized that maybe the sound wasn't on, that this is the first time I think ever that we've talked about a story 3 straight times. And only had Thai food once. Well, don't try to be like Steph and get it 10 stars. That was crazy. I wonder if she was serious about that. Because, Steph, if you were serious about asking for 10 stars, there's no way that the back half of your body didn't just fall out. Because that shit would be too damn hot. That'd be like eating like 3 of those ghost pepper chips that people are still on the internet eating, pretending that it's not freaking hot. Anyway, this is where all that silly shit stops. Compare me to the pistol that triggered the start, the semi, the Glock, my millies get caught. Oh my God, M was going crazy on that record. I mean, listen, M, you a little old to be talking about gunplay, buddy. You're 50 almost, right? Still fucking with guns. Anyway, we do not condone gun violence, but it makes for good effects and entertainment in the rap industry. Shout out to M for bodying the verse. Anyway, we have a live show, and I have to get to the fact that I learned today that the Gorilla Glue girl is 40 years old. And I'm sorry, I should have said that I was just having a moment of silence for her brain cells, because I don't understand how you've been here for 40 years and you don't understand what Gorilla Glue is. A whole cold 40 and never knew what Gorilla Glue could do to you. You didn't even look at it. And there's still people on the internet trying to provide Shorty with sympathy. And I get it. I'm glad the surgery went well. She's going to return to a beautiful woman. We know that. But this can't just be dismissed, because this is something where you have to look at the person and be like, do we need to send somebody with you to the store going forward? We don't know if you can be trusted to buy your own hair care products. And that is me making jokes. I'm sure she's totally fine. But somebody should have at least been like, fam, you're about to use Gorilla Glue? Don't do that. Do not do that. Hey, don't. I'm talking to you. Do not use Gorilla Glue on your head or your genitals, because that was another thing we talked about yesterday. Yo, and I'm not going to lie to you. I posted that clip last night. You know, I was doing it real quick because I had to get to my meeting. And I just wanted to throw something else so people had something to look forward to if they wanted to watch yesterday's show, because the show was great. And the part of the clip that had me dying every time is when I said, I said something about her putting the glue on her genitals. I said, you ain't going to get those back. I don't know why, but the shit is funny. Anyway, this is literally how I be acting when I be by myself. Like, I'm easily entertained. I'm not the funniest person that I know or have ever heard of, but I can definitely bring the laughs out of myself. The shit is funny, all right? I don't know what to tell you. This is where all that silly shit stops. I gotta stop going into that. So, did we all see Tom Brady, white girl wasted, the other day? You know, it's crazy because I get it, man. Just coming off a Super Bowl win, you won the Super Bowl, you deserve to go out, celebrate your accomplishments. Congratulations, we get it. But you think of anybody else in the world of entertainment, if we watch them get carried off of their own boat, like Buddy was doing Weekend at Bernie's because he was that faded. When we see somebody being carried around like Bernie, we normally crucify them for how the example that is being set. And oh my God, my mom watches this. What am I going to tell my kids? I'll never forget. Oh my God, I've always told this story. I'll never forget when the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots and Doug scored a touchdown and he faked like he was pulling his pants down, like he's shitting on the football. Anyway, they didn't show it. It became like a problem. I remember we're reading the tweets. These are people tweeting at him. What am I going to tell my kids? Now, first of all, they didn't actually show it on TV. So the only way your kids find out is if you tell your kids. I've definitely told this story before. But it was funny to me that people were literally tweeting at him, oh my God, you horrible N-word. How dare you disgrace the game of football? What am I going to tell my kids? Man, fuck them kids. No, I'm just playing. We love kids on this show, but seriously, people, like in that moment, Buddy is trying to use his kids as a way to make my man feel bad for something that was stupid funny. Because he didn't actually pull his pants down and take a shit on the football. Which if he would have done that, that would have also been hilarious, but all automatic out of the league. You would have been done. No one's actually doing some shit like that. But it's just crazy to think how people react. Like you think of, remember when Britney Spears got caught like out the camera and, you know, remember when she was, you know, all that? And they killed her. They killed her for that. Robert Downey Jr. has been killed. Like some of the greats have been killed for being just faded in public. Now I know a lot of these niggas are on crack when they be doing it and shit like that because Hollywood is crazy. But even still, the fact that they shame these people for the things they do in their personal lives is crazy. But not Tom Brady. Not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is above that shit. All them rules that y'all have, he don't have those. Not now. And he hasn't had them. I can't really give a shout out to Tom. I'm a little bit torn. As a fan of football, I respect the game. I can recognize his greatness within the sport. Buddy, it's cool. Like, you did okay. You're not the reason why your team won the Super Bowl. Are you still good at age 43? Yeah, but I expect you to be good at age 43 because the way the game is set up, it's almost like you don't really get touched a whole lot during the game. You're not overexerting yourself. But I don't want to also be dismissive to the fact that he does play professional football and the shit can get crazy. But at the same time, again, look at how the rules are set up. It is set up in his favor. So if you do what a lot of these rich MFs do, they put a lot of investment into taking care of their bodies. As long as you do that, you probably could play till you're like 40, 45, 50. I don't know. You got to just make sure your arm don't turn into that shit Drew Brees got, like Gumby shit, you know? His shit is just when because he dropped back and he'd be like, and I'm not clowning it, but his arm looked like Jello. I was just Gumbying because I'm right-handed and it's not really in the frame. Anyway, Brady was turned up, but I feel like everybody's praising him and a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I could be in that space. And a lot of these other rich people are co-signing this shit, making this shit cool now. So now you know what's going to happen? People are going to start pretending like, yo, I feel as great as Tom Brady. I'm finna just be faded in public all the goddamn time. And nobody should be able to say anything to me. I feel like there's a problem with that because, listen, the way that y'all be complaining about people not setting an example, and doing the right thing, what about our kids? that will definitely be a fuck them kids moment if all of y'all start pretending that you're Tom Brady and walking around getting faded out in public. And people already do it anyway, but I'm saying, why don't y'all keep that same energy? Because like I said, that would have been anybody else. Could have been a white female, a black, let it not be a black female. Oh my God, they'll go crazy. Black male, anybody else, any other race, anybody else. It could, like I said, even including white people. There are white people that we know who are very prominent. They could not have gotten away with being that faded in public. And then did you see that tweet? That shit had me crying. Because I knew what he was trying to say, but it's like, buddy, you then jumped on Twitter? Like nobody, who was managing him in those moments? Like nobody was like, yo, maybe we should tell Buddy to chill out or maybe like try to get a curtain or something, cover him up. No, that way he don't embarrass himself. They're just like, fuck it, he's turned. And you know what it was? Is because Tom went from New England and he went down there, he started hanging out with black people. And then also Gronk's crazy ass. Back with Gronk, this is how they be getting down. Wasn't nobody out there going to stop the GOAT. But again, man, the way the game is set up, it just, I don't know. I do not know. He's definitely top three. He's top three. But I just don't know. All right. If he go back to back in Tampa, maybe. But then people are like, well, hasn't he done enough? And I'm like, yes, you're absolutely right. He's done enough. But I still just don't know. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Twitter, I love that it took mad years. And this is another keep that same energy type of moment. Because, listen, I don't have a Facebook because people were reporting me and doing all that bum ass shit. But y'all let Donald Trump be on Twitter for 4 years. Talking crazy. I should have gotten 4 years worth of passes just for the memes that I was posting. I literally do not have a Facebook because I was posting hella memes for mad long, and then I start doing the show. And then they sent me an email that says, you're locked out of your account because we think you are impersonating a celebrity. What does that even mean, nigga? I'm not famous. I'm just a dusty-ass black dude who has access to a microphone and has a computer. I don't do anything yet. I'm still regular style, but halfway famous. You know, I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, without a doubt. Hear the words coming out my mouth. Oh my God, let me stop. But Buddy has a lifetime ban. They say even if he tries to run again for president, Twitter's not having you on their platform. So I feel like that means the bar is set at 4 years worth of bullshit. And he was on there every day. So you count up the days, you get that amount of strikes on Twitter. Count it up. It's a lot of strikes, cuz. I'm telling you. You can go basically unlimited for the next 3.5 years. And then if you just cool out for that back half of that 4th year, I bet it'll reset for you. Banned from Twitter, bro. You got to be a lame. Have you seen Twitter? Do you know what you got to do to get kicked off Twitter? Bro, I watched a video of people just literally sitting at a table snorting cocaine the other day. That's just on Twitter. How? You want to see dead bodies? Go to Twitter. You need marriage counseling? Go to Twitter. You need to purchase a kidney off the black market? Probably go to Twitter. And if you just want to buy a baby or something, I bet you can get that off Twitter. Why I feel like my shoulder tensing up. Oh, I need to go get a massage. And you know what the trick is? What you do is you sign up for the couples massage and then you just tell them, no, it's just me. And they get 2 rub downs. See, y'all got to learn how to finesse the game. So when I call tomorrow and be like, let me book the couples massage. And then when I get there, I'm going to be, I was broken hearted and she left me. So can you just get the back and right on the top too and use the oil. Don't hold out on the oil. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the move. Because I need whatever's going on back here. Feel like my stuff's starting to, I'm going to have that Gumby arm I was talking about. All right. I want to talk about something that is completely absurd and freaking disgusting, okay? And if anybody gets on here or looks at this and argues with this, you're freaking disgusting. Heard about France lately? France is actually considering dropping their legal consent age to 15. Your immediate reaction should be ew. $15, bro. Obviously, I'm a simple male. So I have no idea what the F it was like in the mind of a 15-year-old girl. But I just have a hard time I know that they are. I know, because I went to high school. I did all. I understand. We had girls getting pregnant in middle school. But there's not a lot of girls that I feel like they can't be at that level with experience at that point in their life. You mean to tell me you're going to drop down your consent age and then basically allow them to be preyed on by old ass disgusting men? 15, bro. You know what type of door you're opening up by announcing that you are potentially thinking about dropping the consent age. We got people over here probably booking flights right now because some of these niggas is nasty. If you know any old ass white dudes that's finna fly to France in the next few months, you might want to think twice about what you think about them. Look into their background, do something. I will be questioning that because what do you need to be in France for? This is bad. Whatever this is, I don't like this. This is bad. It's real bad. 15. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine if you woke up one day and you're just like, yeah, all the people who be voting and doing all that shit, we're not getting into none of that. But like, if you just saw on the bottom line, like, America's, blanket across every state, legal consent age in the teens, like, wouldn't you like feel disgusting and gross just being a part of a place like that? Knowing that a place like that represents you, you want to be known as a place that has a law in place like that. That's crazy. Crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, please protect your children because these people out here just not trying to do right. All right. Let's move on from nasty ass France. I get that. Drinking and smoking. Listen. I think drinking and smoking, those are just little like bullshit things that you do. Sex is motherfuckers penetrating your body. You penetrating someone else's body. That just seemed different to me. Nigga, you want to go smoke a cigarette at age 13? Do your thing. Now, I hope you choke a little bit to where you think this shit's nasty as hell and then you don't want to do it again. It's disgusting. You smell like shit. Your fingernails, the whole of your clothes. If you don't want to be known as a person who smells like shit, don't smoke cigarettes. I solved that for you. Most of y'all don't want to be walking around smelling like your grandmother's ashtray. Drinking, listen, don't fall into that trap. That could be very dangerous and you could spiral. It's not worth it. But we have resources where we can help you. This whole sex thing, I don't know about that, Cuddy, because I imagine if I was a father and I had a 15-year-old daughter, I don't want to know that grown niggas are overseas trying to penetrate my child. That can't be happening. You remember Bad Boys, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith? I'm not even talking about the part where Buddy came to pick her up on the date. I'm talking about all that shooting and stuff, all of that part. That's what it's going to be like. And I'm just in a hypothetical if I was a father, not like for real. But if I was a father and people were messing with my girl, I might feel some type of way, man. That can't happen. Yeah, this shit is crazy, man. That just baffles my mind. I'm trying to think. Did I know any girls in high school that was pregnant? Like, personally, no. Who at my high school got pregnant in high school, man? I don't think anybody did. Or maybe they did. Who knows? If not in high school, right after high school. And I know that's just how, things be happening. But 15? Because you got to think. Do you know how easy it is or that it can be to manipulate a child? Like, there's no way and I'm just talking about just even on the smallest scale. Think about some of the things you just seen. You want a kid to be quiet, you'd be like, look, go, here's a toy, go play with this. And they'll take it and they go play and they be quiet. Just think of it like that. Even at 15, I know that they're advanced, but think about the things that kids like. They like shiny shit, expensive shit. And if you start finding these people that don't have nothing, they will be enticed by the sight of money and objects and all of that type of stuff. And how do you think they're going to get it from these people? They're going to have to do something strange for a little piece of change. And they're too young to be in that type of position. I watched that Filthy Rich documentary about Jeffrey Epstein. Those girls couldn't have really known what the F was going on. They didn't know what was cracking. They're being presented with these opportunities that they feel like they should take. And then they're being finessed by these people out of their mind, body, and spirit by people who just have a whole lot of money and that they can wipe you away if you get out of line and all that type of shit. Man, we got to try to save some of these girls from these type of predators. There's all these documentaries on Hulu right now highlighting the fact that some of these MFs are nasty. A whole country dropping the consent age, that's not alarming to y'all? Anyway, let's get into the fact that Shorty from The Mandalorian, who was an Ultimate Fighter Shorty, what is her name? Gina Carano. She's actually in one of my favorite movies. You ever seen this movie called Haywire? Y'all should check that out. She actually does a really good job. But this is the problem with Gina. Gina decided to run her mouth. And I'm not even really going to disrespect her because it's not running her mouth. She just spoke what she felt like speaking, and then it just backfired in her face. So apparently she decided to say something along the lines about conservatives, basically comparing them to Holocaust victims. And I'm assuming it was something about like how things are going now. They're not super excited. They're kind of unhappy. And then bam. She compares, I guess these are her people. I don't know enough about her to know what way she's voting, but I feel like if you say something stupid like that, you was on the wrong side of history, my G. So, of course, you have a great job, The Mandalorian. You're getting paid money by Disney to be on a really popular show. You would think that you wouldn't want to fumble that bag, right? Sorry, I'm in deep on the phone because I'm trying to find this freaking article. But you would think, like, she don't want to fumble that bag, right? But of course, they always do. Tell me why they always do. Always, man. It's just crazy to me that you would have a job like that and then you would burn that just on some comment. Because you have to know that y'all are not the same as Holocaust victims, right? Like, these are the same people that be saying that we're stupid, right? And they're the superior race, all that type of stuff, but they don't understand what the actual definition of a Holocaust victim is. They missed that whole shit in class. Missed it. Missed the whole shit. And then want to be on there talking about, oh my God, you see how they treat us? What do you mean how they treat you? Y'all didn't struggle when rushing the Capitol. They let you in. They let you act up because you lost. Basically, they said, yo, go ahead and do your thing. Even though nothing will be different, go ahead and act crazy. We're not gonna worry about it. We're treated like Holocaust victims. What a disrespect to actual victims. Gina now has no job, which is very unfortunate because I imagine those checks from The Mandalorian were probably coming in handy because your ultimate fighting career is nunzo because you chose acting and you're not a bad actress. You're not great, but you're better than... No, you're not. You and J-Lo are about the same. But anyway, Gina's fired. I'm sure they'll be finding a replacement. I'm trying to get into some acting. So look, Mandalorian, if you need some really big Goomba looking MFs to like do something crazy with like a sword or something, I got you. I don't really know Star Wars like that. They have swords, right? I know they have lightsabers, but does anybody just have like a plain ass sword, like bop bop bop, like Zelda type of shit? I don't know. Anyway, I'm in a conversation this morning with one of my homies. It was a conversation, but I saw something they had posted on their page where it talked about, what did that shit say? Let me pull it up because I laughed at it. And then I gave like my reasoning for, having a chuckle and all that good stuff. Let's go to it. I got too much going on, man. There's so many chats going at once. Okay. So it's like this meme that says, I want you, in quotations, it says, you haven't sent me flowers, offered to take me on a date, or anything showing me that, or showing that you want me. Sorry. LOL, please go to hell, sir. And then this was a tweet from somebody, and then somebody tweeted or replied to the tweet, said, they won't offer you any of that, but they sure as hell will ask you for some pussy. Sorry for my inability to read out loud. So I laughed at it because that shit is funny. The go to hell, sir part. That part was funny. I sent my friend, I said, I have some thoughts on this. And then I still laughed because I thought it was funny, but I figured I would comment because I think sometimes men are busters, all right? Sometimes some of us are bummy as hell. We don't have it figured out. And then we kind of do things out of order. Maybe you shouldn't try to do the most when it comes to impressing girls if you're not really in a space where you can do that. It's fine. But pride will tell you that you can try to pull it off. That you can, if I just get the right chick, I'll pull myself up from my bootstraps and then we'll get it cracking. A lot of niggas don't really be asking y'all on dates because they have no idea how to take you on a date. You got to remember, a lot of these men are not being trained on how to pursue women from their mothers, even from their sisters. That's not always happening. Now, listen, we are not making excuses for sorry-ass, dog-ass men, all right? I've been there. I've been a shitty man, a dog-ass man, a bum-ass man. Listen, I'm not here to beat myself up. I'm just calling it what it is. Because on this show, we keep it real, and we're not going to pretend to not be the things that we have once or continue to speak on. So anyway, a lot of guys don't actually know how to take you on a date. So with lack of training, the most that they know how to do is maybe run or rework some corny ass lines to just get you interested enough to be like, oh yeah, sure. And then after that, because they're not actually expecting you to say yes, they freeze up, they panic. But again, a lot of these guys, they're not well put together men. And I think sometimes we tend to expect that because guys are older or whatever the case may be, or maybe they have some crazy life experiences. We sometimes think life experiences equate to life skill and manners and things of that nature. And that's not always the case. So a lot of these niggas could have been through the trenches their whole life and still have no idea how to actually treat you as a woman. But yes, they do know how to recruit you to get those draws. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think women always look at it from that standpoint. You might have somebody shooting their shot for you that literally has zero home training. I will tell you like this. I have been the absolute worst when it comes to picking up women. And I've just been learning through trial and error what works and what doesn't. And 90% of what I learned does not work. It don't be working, Cuddy. So some of us ain't got it figured out when it comes to impressing a woman. But you also have to remember, all of these women are different. They're not all the same. Some of the things that they would like to see are the same, but the order in which received sometimes can be very different. Not all of these women need you to throw all the money at their feet at once in order to impress them. Some of them just want to see a real side of you and see if you were actually someone that they could stand to be in the presence of for more than a couple of hours. Men, we are very annoying. And yes, women are annoying as hell too. But you got to remember that not everybody want to deal with everybody's bullshit all the time. So when you go to approach these people, make sure you have your bullshit tightened up. And also, we are very transparent. Women can see through all that facade and bullshit. I know you think that some of these girls are dumb, but no, you're just dealing with young, inexperienced people. And when they deal with dumb people like you who try to manipulate them, you actually help them gain a power. Because once they go through a shitty experience like that, they'll never trust a nigga again. And then when you finally get right and you want to come back, you think she cares about that shit? No, nigga. No, she does not. She is good. All right? It's over for you, Cuddy. It's over. It's like I said, it's because if you're not actively working on your bullshit, they're gonna smell that shit. All right? So either get it done or move the fuck out of the way so they can go pursue happiness with somebody else that's real. And stop just reaching out to them for the draws. So I think it's perfectly acceptable to have relationships that can be platonic. They don't have to be all about effing. But if y'all are going to go for that, make sure that you have something else to offer. At the very least, you could take them out. You could show some interest and make sure the shit is genuine. That's the problem with y'all. Some of y'all just do the bare minimum and then you want to get in those guts and you don't realize you're actually, I don't want to say you're ruining them, because I feel like when you say you're ruining somebody, it almost implies that they can't come back for it. You are temporarily putting them at a service, which delays their life process and potentially delays the life of their future partner, because you got them over there having to deal with all these emotions and wondering why maybe they're not good enough and all this bullshit, this shit they don't deserve. And this is all just so y'all can just bust nuts. Listen, this shit is not a show for kids. This is not a show for kids. So, fellas, if you really feel like you just need to get it, there are other ways. You don't have to tear people up and destroy them just so you can find temporary fulfillment. Steph, welcome to the show. Didn't know you was in here. We got Gabby in here. We got Steph in here. It's lit. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. We get into the end. Oh, okay. You know what? Today I saw something that made me realize I'm not living right. Does anybody know about a world-class musician, Duke Ellington? And I just learned a fun fact about the Duke. Tell me why Buddy ate a baked potato and a steak every day for breakfast. His reasoning? Because he was so busy, he didn't know when he was going to get his next meal. So he wanted to eat good early. Can you imagine? Just always waking up to a steak and a baked potato. I'm not even really a fan of steaks like that. But when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, he's so swaggy. You mean to tell me you got people cooking you up baked potatoes and steaks, Cuddy? And then I started thinking, wait, what would my doctor tell me? Probably not to do that type of shit. But then I figured, listen, Duke was born in 1899, I think, and he didn't die till 1974. So I feel like if I start turning up now and just get the steak every day, baked potato every day, I got at least another 35 in me. That's easy work. Anyway, I do like to say anyway, because that means we're moving on. When you hear that anyway, we're moving on. I want to read y'all something. I don't know if these tweets are real, but I saw this today and I thought that I was going to come in here and not disrespect, because I told y'all I'm off that. We're about to transition to sports, NFL football. Now, I've talked about on this show how I'm not like the biggest fan of Russell Wilson. I don't think he's the greatest quarterback. There's just something about it that he just doesn't really do it for me. But I have given him credit over the years for making improvements to improve his stock as a great quarterback, or his classification. That's what people put him. But I don't think he's a great quarterback. Apparently, Russ had a tweet. This is the other day. And like I said, I don't know if these replies are real, because you know how people be photoshopping. But I'm starting to wonder if the city's ready to turn on him, because Russ was talking about his O-line being bad. I don't know if he's really saying the O-line's being bad. He's tired of being sacked. And I get that, because he's been sacked like 400 times in these games in his career, which is a crazy amount. But there's also something to be said about the fact that he is always running around like a chicken with its head cut off. And so when you do that, you put yourself at a position to actually make the right plays and in the space where your O-line can protect you. That's why you hear things. If you guys are not sports fans, when you watch NFL football, when you hear the people say, oh, he needs to step up in the pocket, that means when he backs up, the line is in front of him blocking, and they start to bend around him, he's only supposed to step forward in that little oval / horseshoe circular type of deal. Because that's what happens when they try to run outside. They got to block and do it. Anyway, watch football. You'll figure it out. Russ doesn't really do that. He always tries to do the spin move out and then try to roll out and run, do all this type of shit. He's been criticized very heavily by people like me who recognize that actually being a flaw in his game, even though it has given him great success, I think it's a flaw because in the early years, you spent less time working and developing on your mechanics and fixing your ability to make all the throws that you need to make as a quarterback, and you spent all that time running. So when your legs start to die out because you get old, if you can't make all the throws, how much value do you actually have? And you're 5'7", so you can't really see over the offensive line. The people you need to help you out so that way you can get blocking and not get sacked, you need them to be like my size and be 300-pounders. You can't see over people like that, fam. So after a while, how much value will you have? A lot of people thought he was supposed to be the MVP this year. And then you saw how he flamed out in like the 5th or 6th game of the season. And maybe that wasn't his fault, but he's trying to blame it on the O-line. I don't know. When I watch the games, I just see him not playing as well as he probably should. The comment, he left a tweet that says, Jesus, you love with no reservation. That's a great tweet, Russ. Way to keep up the optics. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to shade. I'm sorry. Excellent tweet. Someone put, we don't want you here in Seattle anymore. Please request a trade. The next comment, as a Seahawks fan, I hope we trade him. Our O-line is fine. This lets me know Buddy hasn't been watching the games because your O-line is trash. I don't know why he's complaining. John Snyder should look into trading him and potentially land 21st overall pick in the 2021 draft. And more draft capital. Again, someone who's not very familiar with football. These are only 2 comments, but I basically brought this up because I was thinking to myself, oh my God, let me just run to be like, I told y'all. But then I started thinking, no, you know what? If anybody is saying that they should get rid of him, they're at a line. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't think that Russ actually thinks that the Seahawks' rise to fame and greatness was because of him. I think he knows and understands that he wouldn't be shit without the hamstrings of Marshawn Lynch and the Legion of Boom. I think he knows that. I think he keeps up the idea that it's because of him, because at one point or another, they started saying Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Y'all propped him up, on that pedestal, and you made him believe that he was the greatest of all time. And you have other people like me who would be like, fam, he can't throw the screen pass. All right? That's a problem. That's literally it's a look at it, flick at that wrist. It's nothing, man. It's not that hard. He can't do it. He has improved, though. So this is why I'm here to say that any of y'all talking that shit about him or to him are out of line. Because after you start to see all the pieces of your defense fall apart, and Marshawn goes to another team and then ultimately retires, you see how bad this team actually is. Now, you got to give credit to players like Tyler, Demo. These are guys that I've kicked it with and hung. They're good people. So it's not no shade at them. They have talented people playing on the team. But we can't pretend that any of these guys are the elite of the elite when it comes to receiving core. Now they have DK Metcalf, so that's an improvement. And he's going to be there at the end when it's all said and done as far as records and catches and da-da-da-da-da. That's because he's so massive. You just have to throw it somewhere near him, and he should be able to, it's not that hard. And I'm not saying that like football is some easy thing. I'm just saying the art of catching the football when you're 6'3", 220 pounds or some shit like that, going up against a DB who's 5'9", 5'10", 190. Like I said, you throw it up, and if the throw is somewhat accurate, he should be able to make a play on the ball. Pause. Russ has improved enough to where, because their team has been depleted when it comes to star-type talent, he has still been able to lead them to places that they should not go. And that's just the finish line. I'm talking about just winning games in general. Their team is not that good, all right? Russ keeps y'all in a lot of games because when he gets to running around, he can make magic happen. And that's cool. So he still has the ability to do that. But he's complaining because I think he can sense that this shit is starting to run out. I bet his legs hurt. His feet are probably tired. He needs to be protected because he's probably now ready to stand in the pocket and throw passes. So if you were very excited about the progression of DK Metcalf, you want this type of complaint to be on the table, because then he's going to get the protection that he deserves, and you guys might actually be able to go back to the Super Bowl. You need to improve and bolster up your defense. But with the wide receiver core you have now, if your running backs stay healthy, and with Russell Wilson as your quarterback, Seattle could actually be a contender. The only reason you're still even inside the house of champions and not back in the basement where you belong is because the aura of Russ is enough to keep people thinking about you every Sunday. Your team is not that good. I never thought I'd be out here giving Russell Wilson props. Jesus Christ. I really have turned over a new leaf. And now I've negated it all because I bragged about it. Stay humble. All right. We got one more thing, and then I'm out of here because I gotta go run and do some stuff. Hold on. I gotta play it because I was listening to this earlier. And it got me thinking about one of my favorite rappers. And so before we close the show, I just want to show some love to Royce the 5'9". And the reason being is because when I listen to some of these raps, I'm like, yo, he's spazzing right now. Some of this shit is crazy. It's not stuff that I feel like could be said out in public. But again, all rappers are like that. This stuff is not for the weak-hearted. Some of the stuff is crazy, off the wall. A lot of it is way too much. Should not be absorbed by the minds of people who are not wanting to be in bad spaces, all that type of stuff. But On one of his albums that he had dropped within the last 5 years called Book of Ryan, he has a song called Power. And the song is actually very powerful. If you get a chance to go listen to it, it's him telling a story about his family and kind of his upbringing, how they grew up. The first verse is, and it's mainly about his father too. He grew up in a home of dysfunction and abuse and things of that nature. So the first verse, he talks about him and his two brothers and how for Christmas, his mom got him some boots, but they weren't Tim's. And they knew that if he wore them to school, he was going to get made fun of. And he talks about how him and his brothers, and they all protect each other and things of that nature. The second verse is talking about, what was he talking about? Something with his dad and his mom and abuse and all this type of stuff. And then in the last verse, he talks about how his older brother fought his dad or told him that he was going to fight him. And his dad struck him. And then it became a thing. And they were in, cops pulled up, had to take him away and all that. I posted it on my Snap. So if you haven't had an opportunity to do so, go check out my Snapchat story. And it's on there. Royce actually sings a little bit on the record. I think it's very powerful, man. You should go listen to it. So Book of Ryan, the song is called Power. It talks about family dysfunction and abuse and things like that. And you think about all the people who grow up in these types of homes. My heart goes out to you because a lot of us went through that type of shit and it's very hard. And if you are still here with us today, you're doing better than what they thought you would. When you grow up in those environments, you're not expected to make it because the people who were making your environment chaotic are probably trying to kill you in some small way, even if it's very indirect and they don't recognize it. They want you away from them. They want you out of their existence. They don't want to be in a space with you. That's the only reason why they feel it would be appropriate to strike you in times of frustration. It's because they want to be done with you. You think when you go to strike something, you normally do so with the intent to destroy or obliterate it. Think about when you step on bugs. What are you doing that for? To crush it. You want it to be done. You want it out of here. And we pick it up, put it outside or in the trash can, whatever you do. You have to start thinking about when people are growing up in those homes, they're being put in that potential danger. It could go from just a small little simple situation to boom, 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 and then they're dead. Think about some of the stories that you hear. Kids that grow up in these homes have to witness this type of shit. If you know anybody who is in their adult years of life and they have survived domestic violence or abuse in the home, you should celebrate them because these people are not supposed to be here according to the people who were abusing them for years and years and years. It's crazy. But shout out to Royce. Royce is very powerful, but Royce also has some records that are a bit crazy, and that's the one that I wanted to play a few seconds of because it's lit.
Yeah, I call my cannon popper. I'm the shit, smell me. You can't mask it. It's not the Phantom or the opera.
This one's called Psycho Flow. So if you get a chance, go check it out, man. Thank you for tuning in to Lunchtime TV, man. I will be back tomorrow. Might be snowed in. We are expected to have snow. I don't know. I can't see out the windows. It might be already snowed in, but it doesn't matter. I got stuff I got to go do. So thank you for tuning in to the show. I really enjoyed it, and I will see you guys tomorrow.